within me that knows what to do and how to be present with her and present to the activity of God in all of this. There's an old Indian proverb, you may have seen it in the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, where he says, everything happens for a reason. I believe everything will turn out right in the end, and if it's not yet right, it is not yet the end. That is faith, right? It's all going to turn out right in the end. I also looked, and there's some Psalms that also speak to that, by the way, too. That it all is good in the end. So it comes in different traditions. So the best that we can do and apply this in our lives is to believe in others and to see the best in them, no matter what. No matter how they're behaving, have faith in that holy side of them. And the same holds true for ourselves. Keep that namaste consciousness. The divine in me sees the divine in you. In prayer, keep that prayer in your heart. Because no matter what's showing up out there, that is still the truth. Or I see God in this situation. If it's not a person, I see God at work in this circumstance. So I'd like you to take this opportunity now to look at and find a neighbor or a person across the aisle from you and say to them, take turns, one and then the other, the divine in me sees the divine in you. I have faith in you. How's that?
Feels good.
So notice how that feels. And the next time if you feel insecure or fearful, say this silent prayer. I am light, created by light. I am an expression of the Most High. In a fearful silent moment there. I am light, created by light, an expression of the Most High. Together, I am light, created by light, and
an expression of the Most High.
So in prayer with others, you are light, created by light. You are an expression of the Most High. We can do that silently. We don't need to go around and say it in the sidewalk or whatever, but in silent prayer, in that still place, we hold space for that divine presence to show up. Hold space, spiritual space. All right, so here it is. The holiday season's kicked off. I think I even saw over Thanksgiving the Grinch who stole Christmas was on. It's a tradition every year, for the Grinch story. And so I like to look at that too in terms of faith and in terms of the Grinch. So I did a little piece of it and we'll metaphysically interpret it. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why. No one knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be perhaps his shoes were too tight. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been his heart was 2 sizes too small. So my interpretation of this is that the Grinch represents our faith, the directed instincts consciousness, the kind of thoughts that, when entertained, make us cynical about life, and that can bring us away and out of touch with our Christ nature. And when our head's not screwed on just right, we don't feel that hope, that peace, that love, and that joy that are God expressions that we celebrate during Advent. And then those actions attempt to steal the joy from others as well. Every day we have a choice to make to get caught up in that business and all that, those trappings, the stress of circumstances, or to turn inside out to that inner light and remember the truth, that true identity, that is our Christ consciousness. Now the Grinch's shoes were too tight. The shoes touched the things of the earth. And so whenever we're holding tightly to those concerns, then our hearts can't be open and express the love that is within. And we restrict our capacity to love. And little Cindy Lou Who, she represents our innocence. So when you return to your innocence, then you reconnect with that Christ nature. So in conclusion, faith flows where our attention goes. Let your attention be focused on that divine presence within you and in others this season and always. And in the words of the late, great Wayne Dyer, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. We've already heard Charles Fillmore's words that faith is the perceiving power of the mind linked with the ability to mold and shape substance. We mold that invisible spiritual idea into something tangible. One could say that hope is baby faith, or immature faith focused in time and space. And a mature faith helps us to remember our true identity in times of insecurity and challenge. A mature faith will help us silently affirm to the person who's irritating and not acting from their true identity. You are the Christ, an expression of the living God. Don't let the Grinch steal your Christmas. Your faith has made you whole.
So it's time for us to gather our tithes and love offerings now. If it's not your week to give, you're welcome to put your hand on your heart and let